Good evening all. You'll notice that we've got a new style of agenda. We've got the new heading on the top, and we've also got the new bits and pieces are slightly different to how they used to be done. If we don't like them, we can change them. Doesn't matter really. Right, okay. Right, the Chair will invite members of the public to comment on and ask questions if they wish to. We will withhold standing orders when we get to the necessary bits and pieces. Right, first off, we made a slight change because Councillor Gordon's got to go away early this evening, wherever he is. I can't see him.
He's in front of the nursery board.
Huh?
He's in front of the nursery board.
All right. So Tim, if you'd like to start, you were the first here.
Oh, as a councillor's report, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things, sort of housekeeping matters. Bins keep coming up, as Ian has reminded me again. And I noticed there was a survey that went round through the Rother website and emails through the update, the regular newsletter. So if anybody does have feedback, like not putting the actual lid of the bin back, which I've seen, and not replacing the bin where it was found, which are not technically required to do, but it's a good thing to remind them as they're coming up to their negotiation with BIFA. You know, the more replies as usual, the better.
And Christmas. And Christmas.
And Christmas.
Tips, yeah.
Tips. Do we tip them?
No gratuities.
No gratuities. Well, to be discussed, I think. The other matters were coming up. Parking is an issue. I think that obviously doesn't affect us as much as it does sort of the other parts of Bexhill and stuff, but again, there's a consultation about parking and making it more expensive and limiting it and putting residence permits in accordance with carbon emissions. So that's something else that people are interested in feeding back on. That's a consultation that's going ahead. And I'll let Andrew do something you want to talk about planning.
Probably. Good evening, Chair. Big welcome to your new clerk. First time I've seen her in person, and I'm very pleased to see you here. There have been some changes in the higher management, or are to be changes in the higher management at Rother, that we have recruited a new permanent head of planning from the 10th of February, and that is somebody called Mike Hughes. He will be replacing Gillian McInnes, who is a planning consultant who has been holding the post on a temporary basis and will presumably leave on the 10th of February. And I gather that we've also been successful in recruiting a new Chief Finance Officer, Section 151 officer, in other words, the head of finance. I don't know who that is yet. I think it's being offered to the successful candidates. So
It's a legal guy.
And I think there are some change. There's another. There's going to be an additional person, a monitoring officer, another assistant monitoring officer, isn't there? Yes. There are proposed changes to public speaking at planning committee, and this would make public speaking at the planning committee much more restricted. It follows on from a review carried out by Gillian McInnes, who I just mentioned. It's got a considerable head of steam behind it. I'm keeping an open mind, but it comes before the audit committee on the 2nd of December. Now you may think that's an odd place for a proposal of this sort to go, but changes to the constitution go before the audit committee, and this requires a change to the constitution. In its essence, the amount of time allocated to each speaker will be reduced from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, and there will be only one speaker on each side of the argument. And also that there should be no questioning of speakers by the members of the committee. On that last point, I have to say, having chaired planning committee meetings in the past, it is a difficult thing to manage when the member asking the questions has their back turned to you. It's very hard to control, to stop it descending into a dialogue between the speaker and the member. So I think that perhaps that is one reform that I could agree with. There are also proposed changes to the size of the planning committee. It's proposed to reduce it from 14 members to 10. This is said to make for more efficient decision making. I don't know if that's correct or not. What it does do is to make the committee less representative of the district as a whole. And I think some others do have reservations because the rural members may be disadvantaged. A Bexhill member will know a great deal about neighbouring wards, not just their own, but the other wards in Bexhill, because it's all one town. Whereas my knowledge of Ticehurst, say, would be very limited. So I hope that there can be some safeguards, or at least understandings, that rural members are appropriately appointed to the committee, so that there are enough of us. Changing the subject completely, homelessness. With the cold weather, Rother implemented the cold weather protocol. This is a statutory duty when the temperature falls below a certain point, of bringing in all rough sleepers so that they're in the warm and dry. There's been a recent count of the number of rough sleepers in Rother. I don't know the results of that, but I think in the past when I've asked, it's usually around the 20 mark. Out of a population of 90,000, it's about 20 rough sleepers, most of whom I would imagine have problems other than, not just homelessness, but other problems as well. And obviously we would like to reduce that to nil, but it may always be impossible. Like Tim, I've been engaged on the Market Garden site too, with various enforcement matters, and I have some theories of my own about how we got where we are. I think there are some defects in the way in which the application was accepted by Rother in the first place, without sufficient cross-sections to help us understand its effect on neighbouring properties. And that's me done. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Tim. Okay, next on the list, to record any apologies for absence. There are no apologies yet. I think we need to move that up number 1 in future. I think we should do that first, yeah? We'll just move that up to number 1. Okay. Right, code of conduct, disclosure of interest. To receive any disclosures by members or personal prejudicial interest in matters of the agenda, members are reminded A, to repeat their declaration immediately prior to commencement of the item in question, and B, complete the declaration of interest form. Do we have any of those?
We haven't got any forms.
Okay.
Fairlight don't have any.
Okay. Well, can we print? Does Ecclesham have any? Declaration forms? If so, could we get a couple from them and use them as a template for us?
Yeah, we won't use them, but we can.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Go on. Well, I'm down to number 5 now.
But you haven't let the public. It's only this week.
Well, I'll get my hand slapped already. She's only doing the job about it. I'm already getting kicked in. Okay. So, are there any members of the public that would like to make any comments on any part of the agenda?
John Porfy, yeah.
Yes, John, thank you.
It's on the famous subject of Battery Hill Road marking. I was hoping Carl would be here this evening, but
Yeah.
this is an ongoing thing for about 5 years now. We're trying to get Battery Hill marked either with white lines each side or red cat's eye,
Right.
because it's a dangerous area.
Right. Before you go any further, John, Carl was due to mention that, and he will be sending in a report later in the week. He's off with COVID at the moment.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very
And
much.
he'll be sending that in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chair. I wasn't sure if you needed this at the point where you want to take district and county council reports, or if you want to take it on the Market Garden item. But it's regarding the question that I asked at the last meeting I emailed Councillor Maynard afterwards to ask a question about the highways issues related to the market garden.
Okay.
He followed up by sending queries to his colleagues, and I wanted to ask if he's had any reply, because I haven't been copied into any reply.
Okay. I'll speak to Carl as soon as he's a bit better, see where we've got with the reports, and I'll bring them to the next meeting in January.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Paul Rear. Could I ask a question on item 8 and 9?
Yeah, we can do.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll call in when we get to that point. All right. Okay. Okay. Right, to consider and approve the signing by the Chair of the attached minutes of the full Parish Council meeting held on the 22nd of October. Yeah. All right. I'll amend that. Councillor Pritchard has asked that we change his name.
No, sorry. Declaration of conduct.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, when we get to that point, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He's just disclosing an interest in.
Okay, you've got that, don't you? Yeah.
And what item was it? What item do you disclose?
9 and 12.
Okay. Right, is everybody happy that I signed the minutes?
Can we have a correction, Chair, if I may?
Go ahead.
Page 3, first line, it talks about the war memorial. It says that installation was imminent, so should be in place. It says for the memorial on 19th November. I think it should say in place for Memorial Sunday on the 10th of November. Which indeed was the case. Well, that's what the minute should be.
What page is that?
Page 3.
Page
Page 3.
3.
Top of. It's not paginated, but that's the page it's on.
Right, see, what it should say is what, sorry?
It says, so it should be in place for the memorial on 19th of November. Should be in place for Memorial Sunday on the 10th of November.
Right, I've made that. And I've signed that to that effect, all right.
Thank you.
We need this one signed. You change it. I'll change it. You sign it. Right. Now, point 6, matters requiring a decision by council. Financial matters, to receive the list of items paid to date in September, October and November, and items for payment to date. I would like to say that our clerk, stroke RFO, has really been working very, very hard to get this up to date. It's no mean task not to have had to operate the current accounting package that we've got, and in 6 days she's done 3 months' work. I can't fault that, and they all balance and they all total, which is very good, really. So is everybody happy that I signed those? Yeah. Okay. To receive the receipts and payments report, which you've got. Some of this stuff you will never have seen before. So it's all new. It's all new, I'm afraid. But if you look at it, it does all make quite a lot of common sense. Yeah. And I would like it produced every month that we have these. Right, down to D. To receive and approve the monthly bank reconciliation. Oh, I was going to skip that anyway. Okay, we'll go back to point C. Right, to note that now pay points have been agreed for 24-25, and the clerk's salary will reflect the increase. Oh, that's why I missed it. That's okay. It's already been circulated. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. Right, we've done D. Okay, good. Right, to approve Steve Madden and the council previously discussed the finance meeting on 12th of November. Councillors need to agree, just needs approval. Is everybody happy? What that is we've gone from Altella payroll to Steve Madden, who does an awful lot of other bits and they are cheaper as well, so we make money out of that. Well, we don't make money, but we save money, sorry.
That's good.
Yeah. Right, F, to consider Unity Trust as a main bank account. We were of the understanding that NatWest would only allow one signatory. The clerks is now set up as the administration, and that is confirmed that we are able to have more than one signatory.
This is on online banking you're talking
This
about?
is for online banking, yes. If you remember, we did say that we were going to go over to online banking, do away with all these checks.
Yeah.
The clerk stroke RFO only works 3 days. Those 3 days are taken up with writing out checks, writing out forms, getting people to sign it. With the BACS and automatic clearing, what happens is that she will make a recommendation once a bill comes in. Those signatures that are on the Unity Trust or NatWest, whichever the clerk decides to do, they will get notification that it's to be paid. Once those people authorise it, clerk can then go away and pay it. You'll still get the reports that you get now at the end of the month, but she doesn't have to spend 3 days at the end of the month doing all the work. Yeah? So it makes it a lot easier, and we're moving into the 22nd century rather than from the dark ages.
So, sorry, Steve.
Yes.
So we're going to keep NatWest as a main transacting account.
No, we're going to go over to Unity Trust.
Sorry, we were looking at changing over to Unity because NatWest originally said they can only have one signatory on the account, but now they've said we can have as many as we want, so we can stay with NatWest for now.
I think that's better because the other one's a reserve account with higher interest, isn't it?
And I don't know how long it takes to change over, so for the minute...
The interest has actually come down on there.
Well, it'll come down on both, but it's still higher on the Unity Trust.
Yeah, but we can do both if we wish at some stage.
Okay.
That's good. So will we still need to sign off?
You'll still need to...
On the bank?
So I'll put
They
payment
email us.
onto the banking, and then an authorisation will come to you, and then you'll just authorise it, and then I can pay it when two of you call.
Will that be on block, or is it going to be...
No, I'll just do it as the invoices come in.
Yeah.
So you'll get one every couple of days, or
Okay,
however
cool.
often payments made.
That's cool. Excellent.
All right. Okay. Right, G, to consider moving to online banking so payments can be made by BACS and agree on these signatories and one council to approve monthly bank reconciliations. H, to note NatWest have reduced our credit interest from 1.35 to 1.25, and to note I to note VAT claims submitted for April to September the 3rd of £4,335.75.
Sorry, G, we need to vote on 3 councillors to be signatories on the account and one to do the reconciliation.
Where are you?
G, you skipped to I, but we need to nominate 3 councillors to be the signatures.
Yeah, by all means, okay, so we need to nominate 3 councillors to be signatories.
Or if anyone wants to do it, you can put your hand up.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I don't mind doing
I'll
it.
do it. Yeah, I'll do it.
I'm
Okay,
always
so
looking at my emails.
that's me. Your email address is wrong, by the way, I've sent it, so you won't be getting many. So
What's
it's
wrong
me, Jeff.
Sent out.
I sent it to the FRA, a list of all the email addresses. I gave it to the clerk at RFRA and she checked it as well. I didn't spot it.
What difference?
2 dots on Gmail. So you won't get any, but I'll put that right later on,
So
alright?
we need one person to sign the reconciliation. But that has to be different from the 3.
Okay. So we need another person then.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, Dominic, well done.
Sorry, I thought you put your hand up.
Well, this is all a big learning curve, you know. We changed everything really, you know. We're not just changing one thing. We change everything all at the same time. So it's just Just makes it a little bit complicated and a bit different, I suppose. Right, where would you like to go now? 7? Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
can I just, from the point of view of the council, old council and new council, just a vote of thanks to Danielle for all the work she's done, and I'm very, very grateful. She's obviously worked her socks off, and I'm very grateful.
Thanks, Lynn.
Having tried to do it myself for a few weeks, and screwed it up. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
You didn't say that to me.
And I have less phone calls.
Okay, so we're moving on to D now, seal match funding. Okay, to consider, yes?
Sorry,
Oh.
that's number 7.
That's what I said. All right, to consider council's suggestion for use of seal match funding. Okay, what this is rather, and perhaps Andrew, if I get it wrong, perhaps let me know. Okay, thank you. Rather once or twice a year do match funding of seal money where there have been new buildings, they get money and they put it all in a big pot and then they go to all the parishes once or twice a year, I think it is, and they say, right, what would you like to spend some of this money on? We have a big pot, it is match funding. What that means is if we've got a job that needs £10,000 to do, we can say it needs £10, we request 5, and we will match the other 5 to make the £10,000. So there's a list there. Now some of these it's already been muted from the 4 replies that we got from the survey in last year. They were new bus shelters, new benches, and there was one or two new benches in different places as well. Other bits and pieces are notice boards for bus shelters, new slow down signs for Main Road, sewage works for the pavilion, and tennis courts at the end of Woodfield Steps. We need to put prices to these, don't we? I think, which we've already done.
We just need rough estimates at the moment because we're just applying for it, but when it goes into more detail at the end of the year, then we will need actual quotes. But at the moment we just need to decide on what we actually want to spend it on so that I can apply for it tomorrow.
Right, I think I sent some figures out, didn't I?
Yeah.
For some of these, and you've got some for the benches and the bus stops. Or
Yes.
you've got a bench.
Daniel's got them.
He sent them.
Okay.
Jeff sent them.
So what are we going to apply for out of this list?
How many can we apply for?
I don't know. Do you know, Andrew? Is there a limit?
I'm not aware of a limit on the numbers, but I think you want to be realistic about what you're going to get. I don't see applications for things which are purely ordinary, everyday renewals being looked on very favourably.
Okay.
But I would perhaps think that Robin might look for slightly more ambitious things. But you can speak to the officers of Robin, that's the thing to do.
Well, we have.
Sound about as to what sort of things they're looking for.
Okay.
I tried to call Aaron earlier, he deals with the applications, but I couldn't get hold of him.
Okay.
So, but I think the new bus shelters and benches will be okay because they're new. There'll be new projects if we get rid of the old ones.
Yeah.
And the notice boards. But
we already bought notice boards, didn't we, for the bus shelters last year? Was it last year or the year before? There was one.
Not for the bus stops.
Are you sure?
New notice boards.
One went up in Channel Way, didn't it? At top of. Yeah, it went up in Channel Way. Was that the only one we bought then?
No, 3. One on Woodfield, one on Channel Way, and one by Knoll Road, by the bus stop at Knoll Road.
All right, so.
I can apply for all of this, and then I can speak to him tomorrow and see which one's worth applying for, and then we can just see what they agree to, if any, out of them.
Okay. Are we going to put a figure down for the sewage works for the pavilion? Because
I've got a figure.
Huh?
I've got a figure.
Is there no
for
sewage work there already?
foul.
Is there already sewage work there?
No.
because otherwise we wouldn't be able to apply for it.
Well, that's the thing, is will we be able to apply for bus stops, because we've already got bus stops, haven't we?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if we're getting rid of them and putting brand new ones, then it's a new project.
It's a new project.
All right, they'll allow that, will it?
Yeah.
I think they can, but whether it complies with the policy and the spirit of the thing is something else. Because I mean, obviously you have funds of your own,
Right.
raised through the precept.
Yeah.
This is. I would have thought the things that are a bit more special. I mean, maybe the pavilion and the sewage, perhaps. But I think the thing to do is to speak to the officers and
Okay.
find out.
The other thing, our match funding, can we use our SIL money for the
Yes.
match funding?
Yes.
So therefore, for that, we do need brand new projects, don't we? That are equivalent.
It would
to
make
the-
sense.
Yeah, so bus stops and benches might not have.
Well, we were going
noticeables.
to do them anyway out of the
Well,
SIL
yeah,
money,
yeah.
the SIL money that we got.
Right, okay.
But-
So we'll have
so-
to do
but-
new projects for that.
Yeah, well, they will, as Andrew just said, they might be looked on favourably as those.
Right, okay.
Can you give Daniel the figures for that?
Yeah, I do.
Because it's got to be in by tomorrow night.
So are we going to apply for all of this, or just the sewage, or?
So what is it that you want to apply for?
I must admit, my only reservation is the length of time of the application process, because I'm not so sure when we'll get an answer.
It's
And
not
if we
going-
want to redo something, we could be held up for 6 months, possibly. I don't know when I haven't looked at the dates. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the dates, Daniel.
I know it's in the details of up 14, I think I know it's next year.
Yeah, I
I
think
we had to get everything in by December so they could look at it, and then I don't
think-
really
I
know.
think an
January,
answer. I think the
February.
answer's not until
January, February, I think.
something like
Early February.
yeah. No, I think it's later than that. I did proofread it all. But I'm just thinking what we don't want is if we want to do something with our own SIL money, do we want to wait possibly 6-8 months
I won't be that.
waiting for an answer
We
from
can't.
this?
We can't do that, can we?
No.
We can't do that. So it would be better to go for the perhaps the notice board, slow down signs, and the sewage works.
Jeff just mentioned if we want to do the sewage work sooner, then we won't be able to get it done if we're waiting for the funding, right?
I don't know. We don't know how long we're going to be waiting for the sewage answers, are we? We don't know.
Chair, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes. Go
Which
ahead.
is the most expensive project? If you're getting 50% from an outside funder, shouldn't we try to load in the higher priced ticket items?
Well, this is again, to my mind, it's a bit of a risk because just say they during the process they want to know how you're funding it, and we won't know for the sewage works or the treatment.
won't be
Well, we could
charity
do by
funding.
then.
It'll be charity funding.
There'll be charity funding, but we haven't got it.
Yeah, but we will. It'll be we'll be applying for it, so therefore it'll be charity
Yeah.
funding.
Yeah. But definitely, to answer the question, definitely would be possible sewage works for the pavilion.
Yeah, it's worth the funds.
Right, but if you go in for the sewage works for the pavilion, that means you're going to have to hold back on some of the SIL money that you've currently got, bus stops and the chairs, the benches, don't you? You don't know how much the sewage works are yet.
Well,
No, but that's not coming out of the SIL. If you got this, none of that would be coming out of the SIL.
You've still got to match fund it though.
Yeah,
So you've still got to find the money for the other half.
yeah.
Out of our SIL money.
Pardon?
Out of our SIL money, the Fairlight SIL money.
Well, it's out of the SIL money that we got from the
yeah,
Market
that's for the
Gardens.
match funding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But that depends on what the sewage works for the pavilion are going to cost, doesn't it?
Mm.
If it's going to be £80,000, yeah, could be. That's £40,000 of the SIL money of our money gone, and we've got no new bus shelters or new benches. The benches we could probably get out of our ordinary reserves anyway.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question on the sewage issue?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a sewage issue which is into main drains, or is it
it would be.
I was going to bring it up. I was going to
I
talk
mean, the
about
question
it
is
in my reports.
significant. This question is significant
Yeah,
because of changing rules in land drainage.
yeah. But do you want me to cover that now?
You can do, yeah. Yeah, we got to have an answer.
We have permission to run a foul from the new site to Meadow Way. Southern Water have now, for 3 consecutive times, adamantly refused to accept surface water. It's going to get into a big picture, this really, because the only disposal of the surface water, because of how impermeable the field substructure is, believe it or not, it's a soakaway measuring 21 times 7 metres, which is a huge portion of the field. So before that could even be done, I think the Fairlight Pavilion would have to decide how they're going to approach the parish council to accept or refuse the disturbance of the field, because at one point you're going to have a digger going through the middle of the field straight down to Meadow Way, and then on another occasion you're going to have roughly a quarter of the field out of action, not for a long time, while a septic tank is being done, and the costs are going obviously horrific.
Septic tank or soakaway?
The soakaway.
Soakaway,
There
not
won't be a septic tank.
Well,
They won't allow it.
right.
We can't even look at a septic tank, like the architects have informed me,
But a septic tank would be
because there's a
foul
way
water.
of disposing of foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will not allow a septic
Right.
tank.
So we're talking about surface water,
Surface
aren't we?
water soak away.
And it's soak away.
Yep.
And that's what you're talking about, the field being disturbed for?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Right.
I mean, to put it in some sort of comparison, the market garden soak away, I know it's got an overflow for it, which is going to go into the stream, but the market garden soak away measures something like 5 metres by 4 metres for 16 houses. But because of the field being what it is, the soak away is going to have to measure 21 metres by 7 metres for permeability reasons.
How many football pitches is that?
Well, it's not a football pitch, but it's a pretty large amount of the field.
Right.
Sorry, Andrew.
Steve?
Yeah, sorry, Andrew, please.
Yes, not specifically about what she was saying, but it says here, this is SIL match funding. All applications will need to demonstrate how the infrastructure provision supports and addresses the demands placed on the area due to housing development. I think that comes back to what I was saying. I don't think it's for replacement benches,
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
unless you have a lot of people who need to sit down.
Well, we do, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be new project.
Okay, so where do we go? As Andrew just said, it's not for the benches, so we can forget those.
Or bus stops.
All the bus stops there, so it's down to the pavilion is still the new pavilion is still a parish council project.
Mm.
Okay, it's still a parish council project. Well, unless we try, we're not going to know.
Yeah,
are we?
I think we have to try,
We've got to give it away.
but I think the match funding's got to come from capital grant funding.
Well, it can come from SIL money. Our SIL
Well,
money.
you can't decide to spend £40,000
Well, no,
money.
but some of it could come from that, couldn't it? It's the same objective, same results as we're looking at.
Well, I think that's just, personally, I think we should just look at what we're going to apply for, and that's the only one which seems of great
Well,
relevance.
Yeah.
But don't
Okay.
we need,
Don't
we
worry
need some
about.
more stuff on Woodfield for the kids? Don't we need a new football area and stuff like that for the children on the Woodfield? Because that needs changing.
There are
doesn't it?
things on Woodfield that need changing. Yes, like they need moving, particularly the goalposts, because they're
Exactly.
breaking the fence and what have you. You know, but I don't know how the metal poles that hold the goalpost up, how they're situated. They're in concrete. You know.
I think they are.
No, in which case it's just a matter of labour and maybe a new net by the time we move it. So
Well, they don't know that, do they? We could still put that on the thingy. And what about, do we need anything else in the playground?
There's no more room in the playground.
I know, I was wondering whether it needs extending, the playground.
Right, so we're going to put down the sewage works for the pavilion, yeah?
Yeah.
And see how we go with that. Jeff will give you a figure for that at some stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I, what about the work
I've got
that needs
3
doing,
estimates.
Okay.
sorry, towards the tennis club? Does that not come down? Because we were talking about putting a bit of pond in and landscaping that. Could that not come under? Because that's new, isn't it?
I'm afraid I'm a bit reluctant putting ponds in where there are kids are involved.
Well, you don't have to be a pond.
Whatever.
It would just be
You know, it only takes a couple of inches for it to drown.
I think there are other grants for stuff like that. If you're,
Yeah.
Oh, then, right,
I think so.
I'll stop having ideas.
Okay, so moving on then. Okay, 8, Market Garden site. Right, it says here, Chair to give a verbal update, and I will do. However, the clerk has put some information down here. The clerk has spoken to Gem Select to confirm that they no longer own the site. It now belongs to Future South Wales. The new site owners requested access to the site on the 13th of November and sent a follow-up email on the 26th of November. And she has had no response as yet, and there is no phone number. From my point of view on the update, I have, bear with me. All right. Due to some internal sorting out that the village people are trying to do, and that we have 2 councillors who are collectively responsible for informing the PC as to what's going on, it will be unwise for me to mention anything. So, Lee, do you have something you wish to say?
I do. We had a impromptu village people's meeting this morning, and there were certain things that came out which they've asked me to mention in today's meeting, and I have briefed Steve regarding those. I think Danielle's probably answered some. They were basically asking some questions that they had forgotten in today's meeting. And I'll read it as verbatim. I forgot to mention the 3 things the village people asked to help with a public meeting with the village people and new parish councils held in the village hall a few months ago. Stakeholders meetings with VP FPC developer Rother Highways flood team, which I've always assumed would be organised once a new clerk had finished her induction and properly settled in. She phoned me twice about Market Garden and sounds absolutely lovely. So I didn't like this. Plus for important documents such as reports on levels from Rother to put onto the FP website, some new information come through from Rother District Planning on levels. I think it may be in conjunction with the recent survey. Parking matters, picking up on the Parking Matters survey. But the information that Danielle has just provided is very interesting, because on the meeting we were discussing that I noticed on the balance sheet from Future Home South that they had received £2.5 million worth of money, and then shortly after that it had disappeared, and the money had dropped down from Gem Select, exactly the same amount of money within pounds. So that's obviously the transaction. But last year, Gem Select on their accounts made over 6 million. So yes, it looks like that's the case now, that the future homes of the people that own the site, and also the workers there are also now dressed in their bibs as well. An interesting point on that we didn't notice that was brought up was all the sold and for sale signs have all been taken down as they breach regulations. So that's really on that point. A difficult matter that did come up was a letter that was given to me by Paul Wilson Patterson today, regarding a letter from Councillor Baker and some points in there that he wanted to discuss with you. And I think, is it fair to discuss some of these matters in the meeting, Chairman, or not? As you've had a copy.
I don't see why not, yes. I don't see why not. We're supposed to be open and
Yeah,
completely
absolutely.
transparent. So, yeah.
I won't read all of it because I'll read the bit that perhaps would be contentious. The FPC has, over the last few months I've been involved in and spoken to you, that the 2025 budget would include money to support the VP. Indeed, in a meeting with Councillor Smith, he advised not only how much, but how much would account for it. Councillor Miller, myself, has a conflict of interest here on the fiscal issue, as he would be a fiscal beneficiary, but knew what I was doing. So I've asked a few people, and that does, to me, assume that I have gained in some way, financially, out of the market garden.
What's that mean?
I don't know, is that a question to me?
Yes.
Right, is that a question from...
There's a question,
Paul Watson?
an email that you sent
Yes.
to Paul Waters and Paddington, saying that Councillor Miller has a conflict of interest here on the fiscal issue,
Okay.
which many
You take-
people would understand as money.
Fine. There's, I'll answer that quite happily. Wilson Patterson wrote me a letter, and I responded to that letter in detail. You've taken 2 lines out of it.
I could read all of it, but I think most of the people
I'm
would.
not really worried. So the 2 questions in there. Number 1 is about the support, and the discussion has taken place with regarding support going forward. The proposal was made at the last finance and planning meeting, and it was rejected. So that is basically dead in water. That has collapsed. With regard to the question on fiscal interest, when I asked for support, financial support, that proposal was formally made. Clearly, anyone who has a conflict of interest, and the village people, if they've received monies, as you're part of the village people, that you may not personally get that, but the financial benefit would be going to the village people.
Well, it says on here, me.
Well, you're the councillor who's involved because the councillor said why it wasn't. As a member of the village people, anybody in that village people who would be receiving monies, however it's to the village people, would have a conflict of interest in terms of putting that forward. That's a clear statement.
No, sorry, I disagree with that.
Okay, well, fine.
It specifically mentions me.
Yeah, but that's because I was asked about you. I was asked a question about you.
And the question is, the answer is that I have a fiscal benefit. I'm a fiscal beneficiary.
No, I said that there is a...
No, it's written
yes,
down.
I know what I've said. I know what I've said. And there is financial benefit to the village people of which you are a member. Now, I'm not saying...
I'm sorry, I don't accept that.
Okay, fine.
I don't accept that at all. Other matters as well, I'm not going to discuss over here. And it's basically, particularly part in here I'm going to read. Sorry about this. I've reprinted. I've got an old printer, and it's packed up. So all my stuff is like,
Full prose.
yeah, it's full pro, and it's also sort of glistening out. So. Personally, I'm sorry, I've lost my track on here. All my support and actions in support of the VP is a backdrop of supine action from the FPC and its new iteration. Words of support are nothing. Action is what is required.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know, is that regarding the old council or new council?
Well, that was a letter I sent personally to them, and they asked me a question, we've got a number of questions, and the answer is that the action taken from the village people meeting, which was held in this room, with this council, the only actions that have taken place have been by the district councillors and myself in this respect. And as far as I'm concerned, the old FPC took no action, and I'm not sure that this committee has taken much action. We rejected the proposals, and that's fine. That's a decision that's been made. But Councillor Miller, I'm sure you'll accept that anyone can have an opinion about what actions are taken. And the actions, well, you tell me, what actions have been taken by the council in support of the village people? Actions.
I think there's a lot going on, and one of the things that came out at the meeting today is not to show our hand too much, because the developers, there's things that are going on at the moment. Once the developers know, perhaps if we're taking action against the fencing or we're taking action against the Gambians, then it plays into their hands. So there is a lot of going on, and the village people are actually taking action
Forgive me,
together.
that's not the question I asked. The question I didn't ask what the village people, I think the village people are doing a huge amount. The question is what the council, the parish council are doing. We had the meeting in this room and everybody here said how much they supported the village people. And the question I'm asking, I mean, you can
It's the same answer to the question that was asked by Anna and Paul. What are the parish council going to be able to do for us? And I said we can write letters on your behalf.
Yeah.
We as a council, not you, but we as a council can write letters on their behalf. There is no funding from the parish council because you are an unconstituted group which does not fall in line with the constraints that we've got been put upon us by the old parish council and the grants programme. Are you going to read out the last?
Yeah, I'll read the last bit. This is just came in 4:30 this afternoon to me. Further to the VP meeting this morning, I'm writing to confirm that after a member's proposed a resolution, it is decided by vote that VP does not require any further assistance from Councillor Baker.
Fine.
So there we are.
Can I just also register that the independent report that was asked for and paid for has gone to every member of this council, as well as topographical survey that was received following a Freedom of Information request made by myself on direction to Rother District Council, and that's been
on direction from who?
I'm not sure that I'm. Well, okay. I was told. In fact, it's in the minutes of the previous meeting, Chair.
It was not mentioned. It was not mentioned by the parish council that you go away and do that. We had this discussion in the finance and admin.
Okay.
You were not asked by the parish council to do any of that. You were not asked to write with your name, and Fairlight Parish Council was the address of your address. You were not asked to do that by the parish council either.
What, for freedom of information?
Yes, for that, and also the other, the ASP consultants. You were not asked by the parish council to go away and do that either.
Correct.
You've done that on your own back.
Correct.
Correct, but you can't do that on your own back as a councillor. You are not allowed to.
I haven't done it on the back.
I'm sorry, but the letter has come back and it's addressed to Councillor Stephen Baker.
That is my title.
But you can't go and do that under a council. That's not the way.
I have
That's
said
not. So be it. That's not the way. You should know. You've been on the parish council long enough to know how you should work within the confines of the parish council. You cannot make a decision outside of this room without the parish council knowing about it. You can go to meetings, you can say, yes, I would take that back to the parish council and see what they say. That's as far as you can do. That's as far as I can do. I can't do any more. And nor can you.
I think in the previous minutes, which were approved, it's given chapter and verse what happened and how Rother District Council approached with planning, etc. And just so that it's clear, for the record, the payment for the fee for the survey was made by myself, which I promised to do both at the planning and finance meeting and to the village people.
Right, but not under your name as a parish councillor.
So I just paid the bill.
Anybody got anything further to say? Mark, go on, say.
I think the gentleman there, what did you
Oh yeah, I do have it's more of an observation in respect to when you get down to Lower Waits Lane, and if you were starting from the gardening club end, and you're going down there, they started to put a fence up there. They've still got their Harris fencing, still continuing to protect the site. Now I'm just wondering whether that's going to be the actual boundary now, because I've looked at boundary lines and they're all over the place. The reason I say that is there's an electricity pole there, and I know for a fact that that pole is on council land. Now I'm just wondering, and looking down the fence line, where that fence line is going to run. And obviously the other concern is the stream. But they're definitely encroaching onto basically near enough the highway.
Okay. I think this, Lee, please.
So funny, that actually came up at today's meeting. One of the questions we asked was who owns the stream, and technically the stream is halfway to this side, halfway to Lower Waits Lane. The fencing is going to go all the way round, and it would appear that it's going to be, it's been rubber stamped, and it's going to be the 1.6 metre fencing.
1.6.
As far as things like the footpath and around that bend, that's not necessarily been decided yet. I think there's an objection against it, but it looks like it'll get done anyway, and then see how it goes from there.
I mean,
you're totally right. It's not. It doesn't match the plans.
Sorry, but when you get to that power line pole, it'll be interesting to see which side of the fence that goes, because obviously there's a cost involved. Whoever the landowner is. If it's the landowner, they get a payment for it. If it's on council land, they have an easement, and and it can go there. Just one other question on that while we're in that area. So when these people, when they eventually move in, everybody needs a home. And when they come out with their vehicle, which will probably be, maybe over 20 vehicles in general to talk about, they come out. Now, is there any indication whether they go left, right, or down Lower Waits?
It should be. They should be going up.
Will there be any direction for them?
That's a highways thing. But the way they've done the bend, they've cut the bend going up on the dirt track. You could actually access the site and turn right as a shortcut.
Yeah. Okay.
Up Lower Waits Lane.
Well, I suppose it is Lower Waits Lane, isn't it? That meets Waits Lane.
Last year.
Yeah, you can actually cut it out.
And the only downside is they've scrubbed out a hedgerow. Yeah, that's...
Well, I don't think they're worried about that.
Well, no, but we are.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Number 9. Tennis club access route. Yeah, please. Thanks, Dominic. Right, to consider quote from JD Garden Landscaping Services for work on tennis court access route. Quotes to be tabled at the meeting. Now, there are 2 parts to this. There's the new part, which goes down through the gorse. Am I right, Jeff? Does that make sense? It goes down through the gorse.
Yes.
Yes. And there are railway sleepers of a kind filled in with either new type filling, like bark chipping, which is a lot stronger and a lot longer lasting than the children's playground or type 1. Okay. Then there's the other part to the tennis club, which is the access, which is where they normally go at the moment, and that's to lay, I think, the same type of bark down there, which is a little crazy, really, when you think about they're walking across the wet field. Yeah, they're walking across the wet field, and then they're going to be walking on the bark chippings and taking the chippings into the tennis court off their boots and shoes. But the prices that you've got on those, obviously you have to take out whichever option you're not going to use, so the price will come down.
Chair, sorry. Couldn't I have used or thought about using what I would call a rolling road, in respect where you unroll the, whatever you're going to walk on, but it's a solid roadway, only about, 2 metres wide. you wouldn't have had any mess or any compression, hardly any compression.
I think the fact is that because the number of times that it keeps flooding down on that particular walk and access to the actual court itself. I mean, I've only been down there a couple of times on my scooter. I've never got bogged down, but I've left nice railway marks, all the way down it, and it's not terribly good. So something needs to be done to keep that water away. But the other point is that the one that comes down from the through the gorge would be like railway sleepers filled in with this stuff, and possibly a handrail would probably be needed as well in the winter time. So it would make access a lot better for the tennis club. What ones? Yeah, please.
I mean, that access through the gorge is not only with the tennis club, it's people coming up through the woodland as well.
Yes.
There's no way that the number of people who use the tennis court would make the amount of
that mess.
footprints.
No.
It's a walkway through.
It is.
Yeah.
Dog walking.
Yeah.
I went through it yesterday and it was distinctly unpleasant. So it was well over my walking boots, it was well over the mud, and even though I tried to avoid it, the dogs loved it. But I just
Chair, was it the intention to do both, or one or the other?
No, both.
Both?
It'll be both, yeah.
What would be both? Sorry.
The one through, because otherwise you're going to be restricting people from coming up one way or going up the other way, aren't you? If you don't do both.
through the woods, one through the woods.
You mean to
And one through the field.
No. The walkway from both areas, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because if people are going to come in from the top end and come down past the Activate hut, they're going to walk in along the bit that's currently wet now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that not item 12?
But the path itself is disgusting into the woods actually. So.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
It's all
That's-
got the same one.
The 32 and 34 is the lower one. Yeah.
Okay, so and then there's two rules for this one.
And it's in proposal one.
Okay,
Yes, this is from the woodland.
Yeah,
The last
there are
one we've
two.
got
There
here,
are
Yeah,
is
I
woodland.
can't.
Yeah.
right.
So this one is from the woodland. Okay.
One is through the course,
Yeah, that's
very
from
near the
that's-
tennis court entrance.
That's from the field. That's from the field itself, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's this top one. That's proposal 2. Yeah. Because that's got the railway sleepers and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's 2. And this is, I don't know what this is. Yeah, I think this is from the woodland as well. I think there's 2 from the woodland, isn't there?
No, the two from the woodland aren't on this
Yeah.
section. That's 32 and 34. They're not on this part of the JD
No,
No, I'm not
Gardens.
talking about, no, I'm not talking about.
What's
So
that?
on these, they've got proposal 3, which is from the woodland to the tennis courts, which is where you're walking in the woods and you come through with the dogs to go past the tennis court and into wood field.
Shall I just ask them to explain quickly? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
then
I
we'll
think we
maybe
need a bit of an
discuss it
explanation.
The one on the top is just the three options, 3 different types of railway sleepers.
Can you just explain what areas the councillors that are on the side, they're not sure apply to?
There is 3 different proposals. One is from the, just to let those, as we spoke at the original meeting, on the path that was really there and soggy, that we were just sort of going to do some filling up with either bark or some kind of a MOT type to sort of make less soggy the area.
So that's proposal 1.
Is that proposal 1, John?
That's going to be proposal 3.
The 185 one, that's proposal 3.
Proposal 3, what area, sorry?
That's proposal 1, yes, proposal 1, tennis court. That's the footpath which is along already in place.
Hang on,
Yeah.
is that the footpath
Where it's
from
boggy at the
Woodfield?
moment.
Yeah,
From
so,
Woodfield through
yeah.
to the tennis courts?
yeah.
Nothing to do with the woods itself?
No.
Proposal 2 is to create a new area with some stepping, with a selection of different material, and those materials got to be chosen to be able to have a proper court. And the third proposal is
That's proposal 1.
no, that's
Proposal
proposal 3 for
three,
clearing
right.
the shrubs. That is, if the parish council managed to get volunteers to clear
But
then
which shrubs? Which shrubs?
the shrubs to create a new access to the tennis court with some stepping.
I think she's asking where the shrubs are.
Yeah.
The shrubs are by the side of they're going from the play area all the way to the bottom of the actual.
Didn't we say if we cleared that, that's going to make even more water? Because they're taking up water.
We're not
boat.
clearing. We're not not clearing the whole sections, because we're talking about 10 meters long. Talking about just a footpath to be about the size of a 1 point.
Oh, straight to the
Yeah,
tennis courts rather than. Right.
And that would be basically right by the entrance of the gate of the
Gotcha.
tennis court.
Gotcha.
And doing some steps.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You probably need to do proposals and proposal 2. So we've got steps if we need them, but we also need to make that less boggy, that area, for the dog walkers.
I mean, personally, I'm happy to anything which helps that boggy area. I can't see a lot of point in making steep steps down near the tennis court, just purely for the tennis court users, near enough.
Well, other people
than
use
other
it as
people.
well.
I don't know. Well,
It'd be a
you
shortcut
don't
to the
access
woods.
the woods near the tennis court entrance.
Well, I do. I do,
Yeah.
because there's a little alleyway going down. There's a little alleyway down. So if you go along as if you
Not
want to go
behind
to
the basketball.
In between.
Yeah, but from the basketball pitch, go along the boggy
John
area.
Michael
I think the answer is you've got one permanent solution, okay, which is the steps down. That's durable. And the other one is a short to medium term solution, because sooner or later it will just sink into the ground. So a flight of steps is as near as possible you'll get to a permanent solution.
But as
And
Lynn
it's
says
worth
earlier,
spending. Sorry?
but as Lynn says earlier, people will still come down those steps and then you walk along through the boggy bit to go through to into the woods.
Well, as the Chair said earlier, we're considering both,
Yeah.
so doing both.
Yeah.
So, but I think everybody needs to be aware that doing something about the path as is will last for a while, but it will gradually deteriorate.
Yeah.
So it will need attention later on. What I'm saying is steps are a permanent solution, and that's the one that I personally will go for.
But it's still only half of the problem.
Only part of the yes. Admittedly, if you're accessing the wood from the steps, then it would be sensible to do something about that. But under no illusions that it's not a permanent solution. Doing something to the boggy part of the moat, because it will always be boggy one way or another.
But if I was just, like I said at the previous meeting, if you actually open that up to some air, because that is low quality scrub vegetation there, or not proper shrubs or trees, it's brambles, nettles,
Rabbits.
I think
rabbits.
there'll always be
But you let the air get at it, so it's the same as Steve said before. Simply
there'll always be
dry
a
washing.
problem there.
Wind will dry the ground if it can get to the ground.
You'll always have a problem here because it's on the north side of the bank, so you'll hardly get any sun on it, so that won't help. So it will be a problem.
But if it gets air.
If it can get air to it, it will help. But as I say, I don't think it's a permanent solution, but it's the best we can do for the moment.
Yeah, but But sleepers is for the main bit, isn't it?
No, sleepers.
Can I just,
Yeah, go
is there
ahead.
any issue regarding putting sleepers as steps because of the slip hazard?
I did mention that earlier to Dominic, and there would need to be handrails.
Yeah, I was going to
Down the
say
side.
because, or a warning sign that these aren't.
You'd need the warning sign. as well.
Imagine in the winter when it's got moss all over it.
Yeah. So what are we going to go for? Barking between the railway sleepers on the steps, or type 1?
Type 1.
I think type 1 would be a better solution.
Yeah, I think type 1.
Bark could turn out to be very slippery.
That's this one here.
So proposal 1.
Yeah, so the one for the main steps, we need to decide what railway sleepers you're going to use.
But haven't we got to agree to do the work?
Yeah, you have got to agree to do the work. Are you agreeing to do the work?
Yeah.
Do we agree to do the work? Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have a vote on that?
Yeah, we have a vote.
Vote on that?
All in favour?
So is this, we're clarifying, every single one, proposal 1, 2 and 3 together?
I think this is just proposal 1 at
This
the
is
moment.
this is the one for the steps down through
Right.
the gorge, yeah? So we'll do that one first.
So that's proposal.
So that says proposal 2 on here.
Okay.
So all in favour?
Yep.
And that's like
Anybody no? You're not voting, Stephen? You're not voting?
No, abstaining.
You abstain? So it's 5-1.
No, I'm abstaining actually, Steve.
You're abstaining as
Yeah,
well?
I'm afraid so.
Okay. Are you saying that you don't want that then?
I personally would like that if we could have approached the tennis club for a contribution.
Tennis club will make a contribution. They've already made they've already said they will make a contribution
Well,
of
they-
£200.
And
That-
if
that's-
we're going to go for type 1, that's less than the... Yeah, okay. Sorry.
I thought I did mention about them making a proposal at the finance.
You did.
I did.
I wasn't listening.
Yeah, it wasn't,
Again.
Can you put me down for it?
Right. So what? Okay. So we're going to have to go for that. What railway sleepers are we having? Are we having? We've got to have decent railway sleepers. haven't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We can't have the.
Is one type more durable than another?
Okay.
Or
So
is it just purely cosmetic?
Or any of them.
no. Well, yeah.
Chair,
The grey sleepers, like they last longer.
you can actually dye them, I believe, now with actually grooves cut into them, so it makes them more grippy. Whether Wicks sell them, I know some builders merchants sell them.
I'll put that. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll put that down on here. So we scrap the first two. Go for the supply of mountain grey sleeper with grooves if
If we can get them.
Dominic sort it.
Yeah.
And type 1.
Yeah.
And type 1. Okay, so Daniel will recalculate that as to what it's going to be. So
and we'll also need to account for a handrail as well.
yeah.
So-
Dominic will have to come back with that.
Wouldn't we require 2 further quotes?
Well, the quotes are here for that. You'll need a quote for the handrail.
Saying
just
the
deduct-
quotes from
deduct
two
off
other
of this.
people, You mean
The-
from 2 other companies? You mean?
Yeah.
Probably. Once we
It's like-
decide what we
It's
want.
up to us really. It's down to if you think you're getting a good price on this, then you can go ahead with it. But generally, you would get 2 other quotes. But at the end of the day, it's up to
Okay.
you.
But can't we decide what we want and then we can go and get the other quotes because that makes life a bit easier. We're not going round and round in circles.
Oh, you can do if that's what you want, but you
Yeah.
don't have to.
No,
Don't
but I
have
think
to.
it's
Yeah,
more
no,
sensible.
no,
Yeah, do
from
we
that.
agree that's more sensible?
Well, I just I
Decide
don't
what,
think
roughly what we want from this? 'Cause
it's
Yeah.
not, you're not going
Yeah.
to get cheaper than this.
No, well, they are very reasonable.
I also suggest that if we delay it too much, the worst of the winter will be behind us, hopefully.
And Dominic won't be doing this until gone January
Oh,
anyway.
when he comes back. Oh,
Yeah,
fair enough
yeah.
then.
So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
am I getting to extra quotes?
No.
No.
So that's that one. I'll leave that one there. The other quote was for the access for where it's currently wet on the current walkway through to the tennis club. What do we want?
Proposal 1.
Yeah, I've got to find it first. Right, proposal 1. So we've got bark chipping or aggregate there. It's your choice. I mean, I don't know. I don't walk on the stuff, so I wouldn't know.
I'd have thought as long as we're putting something down, I can. What do you call that black stuff, builder chaps? What it's called? The stuff we on roll black. That's a perma of some
The
form.
water membrane for
That's the
inches
one.
on.
Yeah, yeah. And then we put some aggregate on that. I'd have thought that'd be more durable than.
You going with aggregate, Jeff, or what?
I just can't see it working. As soon as you tread on it, it's going to sink in.
Well, not if you've got a thingy underneath.
Membrane.
Can I just say,
It's permeable.
very thick mud.
Yeah.
It
People,
is.
tennis players have to wear wellies to get
No, yeah,
to the tennis court.
But if they're wearing wellies, why do they want it all packed out then? they're going to change their shoes when they go to the court, surely, are they?
To go and play. But I mean, it's not only
No.
tennis players, but then people are going for a walk tend to wear boots.
Okay.
But it's disgusting, really.
I think we're obliged to do something.
Is it possible to raise that area at all? In some ways, have a raised walkway there.
Well, that would need sort of some form of sleepers down the side, either side, and then fill it in.
Yeah, with aggregate, and then some.
You probably have to lay those. Lay a few of those pipes as well, wouldn't you, to take the water away as it comes down?
That's a good idea.
Sorry, can I just say something again? Surely, for the tennis players can get down somewhere dry, which are the steps.
Yeah.
People who are dog walkers who tend to go the other way.
Yeah.
Are they going to be that? Are they that bothered? I don't know. People tell me I'm
Probably
not.
not.
So,
That's the way I was thinking, really, because this whole thing originated from. I mean, we all know it's been boggy there. It always has been for years and years and years, and it isn't pleasant.
Right, there is one quick
But
solution
it's
to
from-
curing that.
From the tennis
Shut
club.
it off.
Well, just close it off. If you've got the steps, then close it off and put plants in there or something.
I can't quite picture in my mind where this other route is into the woods, in relation to where the new steps might be. That's all.
I think the steps
Tennis
are
court.
on the other end of the tennis court, aren't they?
Tennis
Wasn't there only a walkway along by the side of the tennis court?
Right, we've got
The gate. That's what I
basket.
The other one is by the basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball pitch.
Well, that's what I
That's
thought.
where all the dog walk.
Boggy pit
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Shrubs.
Yeah.
Shrubs.
Yeah.
Tennis court.
Yeah.
If you go up there and down there, and you get into the woods.
Oh, right, okay. So you'd come straight across and onto the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, to a certain extent, if you do the steps, there's not a need for anything else.
Right, okay.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So
What do we ask?
What about the shrub clearance? Will that just get posted?
the shrub clearance will need to be done before you put the steps in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I think that quote 3, proposal 3,
that's
I
just the
don't know what
labour.
that is.
I think he was
It's as
saying
if-
we can either get a voluntary group to do it.
Yeah.
He was going to put in a quote, but I said you might as well just put in a quote for that
Oh,
as
right,
well,
okay.
and then we can consider it here if it's a good price, and then we can get it done quicker. But I don't know whether volunteers will want to do it or not, so I didn't want to delay him doing the other bit. So I
Yeah.
thought I'd just ask him to, and then it's
Lots
up to
of
you.
strong men coming with lots of, and strong ladies. Not me. I'm feeble.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at proposal 2, it
Yeah, it
says
says so.
new access to the tennis court from the playfield need to have a section of gorse, bramble, shrubs to be cleared by volunteers, maybe, to be able to create a stepping way to the court, but also access to the woodland, avoiding the soggy path area.
There we go. I should read.
Gotcha?
So it makes sense then just to close it off.
Yeah. And plant some water absorbing plants.
Yeah.
Close it off. People won't use it when they see the new steps.
That's the whole idea, isn't it? Okay, well,
So we agree on
So,
yeah.
Andrew.
Yes, Andrew.
I declare an interest as a member of the tennis club.
That's okay, Andrew.
I'm getting a little bit confused. Almost everybody who uses the tennis court comes across the field by the
volleyball.
No, down
Yeah.
by the basketball bit, and in through there across the muddy bit to get to the tennis court.
Right.
It's fairly unlikely that people will. They might come up through the wood. It's just about possible, but overwhelmingly people come the other way across the mud.
Can I show you my little diagram?
Yeah, but we're talking, Andrew, sorry, we're talking about a path, steps, near the tennis court entrance gate, through the course, coming up to
Can I
nearish the swing pot.
My little diagram.
So you're talking about steps. You're talking about
Andrew,
clearing
this-
the
Goals, yes.
and creating a completely new.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
this is the
And
tennis
then
court.
blocking off that pathway so as people don't go there. If they're going to come up from the woods to the tennis club, they will still come up that little side piece there, but the rest of it will all be blocked off. They can come up, but so they won't go down that sludgy route anymore.
If there is completely new access through the gorse,
Yeah.
involving steps,
Yeah.
running down, it is entirely a matter for this council and not for me. But that seems a very expensive solution to get round a little bit of mud.
Oh, no, it's not. I promise you. Listen, this is Woodfield. That's Woodfield. Yeah, over here. This is the muddy bit, horrible muddy bit. This is the tennis court. Yeah, this is the little bit that I was talking about that Jeff didn't know about. We're planning to just clear that bit and put steps in there. So all you guys, in your lovely white, can toddle down here with your tennis shoes and pop in there.
Lovely, as I say, it's a matter for the parish council whether it thinks expenditure of that order is necessary to.
It's not that expensive.
No? Well, of course we don't know. We haven't seen the figures.
But Sarah's got it. She can show
Yes. There, so we're taking out because he's actually going to dispose of the bath now.
Right, the cost of those.
I say, well, doesn't really get the
Looks like it's going to be less than £1,000, wasn't it?
The cost of those steps comes down to 543.25.
Yeah, they're well less than £1,000.
The tennis court club have offered £200 towards the cost of dealing with the muddy bit. That makes it £243.25.
Bargain.
Yes, well it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Chair, so, just quickly, this is not going to get done till next year.
No.
In the meantime, like Sarah suggested, could that area be cleared, give it a chance to dry out a bit?
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Well, there's two choices there.
Mine's dead, anyway.
Dominic won't be able to do it until he comes back in January.
Where's these volunteers?
Where are these volunteers?
Where are these volunteers? Yeah, okay. Okay. That's a good point, though, Ian. Yeah. Michael, will you have a word with Sue? I'm not expecting Sue to do it, but Sue may have a collection of people that she could probably call upon to try and do something there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? No?
If you're going to clear that, you might as well just get a JCB down there and do it properly.
Yeah, but you're going to make an awful lot of mess if you do that.
It's too, the field's too
With the state of it at the moment,
The
so
field's
wet.
much too
If you cut it down, won't it all grow back?
No, absolutely.
Well, it will, yeah.
Why don't
But
we
it's
try?
best to cut it back
Why
when
don't we
it's-
try with
it's dead.
volunteers, Chair, to start with, and see
Right.
how we get on?
Okay, so could
I'll have a word.
Have a word with Sue,
I'll see what
if
she
she's got
says,
any
you know.
volunteers. Andrew?
Equalities legislation and so on, there is the possibility of less able people using wheelchairs wishing to get to the tennis court.
Well, they haven't tried yet. I know.
But you're
Trust me,
preventing
I've
them
tried.
from doing it.
Sorry?
But you're preventing them from doing it.
Well, I can ride through the
Not
mud
if you-
like I do. And I can't get through there, so...
But you're talking about closing off the muddy way.
Yeah.
They'll only have steps.
I don't know why.
like Daleks.
Don't really know why we need to close off the cycleway.
If people want to go
People
through it,
want to
fine.
go for a squidge. It's entirely up to them.
Right. We...
It doesn't stop them putting the steps down.
Yeah, we don't need to close it off. We can just leave it. If people want to go for a mud bath, they can.
Right.
And once we've got the steps in, we'll have the alternative.
Right, we need to move on.
Wait, I need
Sure.
to know what's
Sure, sorry.
provided.
Right, that's what we decided.
Item 9?
Sorry?
I did have a question.
Yeah, I've not got there. Just wait with me just a minute.
So we're organising.
You were talking about tennis club access, weren't you? That wasn't
Well, it's about the quote the parish council have received.
All right.
In respect of, we've talked about many methods of laying a footpath, steps, etc. A good point was put up about wheelchair access.
Yeah.
But was this the only quote considered, or was it the only quote given? To the council?
It is the only quote given. We don't have to receive another quote if the council are happy that these prices are good.
I'm thinking about the quality of the work, the quality of the method used in respect of another quote may have given other ideas to use.
Okay. Councillors?
I think this was an initial idea because we had somebody volunteering to do this straight away, which is what we wanted.
Volunteer is great. Yes.
We wanted someone to do that, to give us an idea of what we all discussed it. Sarah came up with ideas, so did Michael because he's got experience of this thing, so did Jeff because he knows about these things. So we all talked about it and Dominic offered to have a quick look and see what he could do, and he came to come up with these 3 ideas. So that's what we were saying, and Jeff was saying earlier, do we need more quotes? We were saying once we've decided what we want, and then we can go in and get more quotes if we want to.
Yeah, it's about the ideas more than the quote on
Have
the
you
lead.
got any ideas?
Well, there are ideas out there, but
What would you
I don't
suggest?
think it's to
Why
talk
don't-
about at the moment.
Could you talk to Dominic then
Yeah,
when he
well,
comes
yeah, I'll work
after the
with Dom,
meeting
yeah.
and talk to him about your ideas and stuff, and then you can
Yeah.
get
Well,
it all
I think
together.
with more quotes, you get more ideas, more to consider.
Okay.
I'm happy to meet with a couple of other contractors and get them to have a look at it and see what they come up with.
Well done, Daniel.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, we'll hold fire then.
I don't know where it is, so someone's going to have to show me where it is.
I think in view of the situation then it wouldn't be done before February.
We've got plenty of
When we've
time.
got
We've got
January's
plenty of
meeting.
time.
Right, thank you, Chair.
Okay,
Should
no
I
problem.
get to
Yes, please.
Okay.
Based on those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, I'll show
Do you want
you.
this? Okay. Okay.
Could I also say that, that there are people in the tennis club who do help keep all the bushes cut around, I know you're asking Sue, who I know helps in the woods, but I'm sure the tennis club would be prepared to help keep things trimmed along there. It's not easy when it's muddy, but...
No, okay. The only thing we need to bear in mind, of course, is that as we get further past the winter, we start getting into bird breeding. It's now illegal to cut bushes down in bird breeding season, so
Yeah.
In March.
No, I wouldn't want the tennis
No.
club to be seen as not
No, we-
contributing to the...
No, that's fine, but we just need to be aware that, it's now illegal to do that. You cannot cut them trees down. You can't cut trees down during bird breeding season at all. There is a heavy fine for it. Okay, Daniel will get 2 more quotes for that to do the same sort of work, okay? But perhaps you can have a word with Sue anyway and see what the situation is. Okay, 10, urban grass cutting. Right, you've had the East Sussex bits and pieces. We did it at the finance and admin, and we decided on 2 cuts. Yeah, we just need a vote on that.
Can I just add in what we discussed at the finance meeting? We do the 2 cuts, but if needed, we would do a separate cut depending on the growing of the grass and pay for that as a separate item.
Okay. All right. Can we have a vote on that then?
I propose that. Yeah. It's all gone.
Just one thing there. I'm not convinced that unless you opt out altogether and do it all yourself straight off,
If you
that
don't do it,
highways are going to allow you to cut their grass just because you wish to. If you see what I mean. It's highways verges we're talking about.
I do see.
I'm not too sure that they're just going to be happy if they find out we've hired a contractor to go around and cut all their grass, just to not pay them to do it.
No, I think it would be that we would use those contractors.
It'd probably be the same contract. But the options are 2 free cuts from East Sussex.
Yeah.
Or 6 cuts for an extra 2,622, or do it yourself and we're going to give you 1,311.
You need to
So if we opt for just the two free cuts, what I'm saying is that the highways could come back at you if you get caught doing a private cut without their previous agreement.
Okay, but then that's always going to be the case, isn't it? Because if you look at Broadway on the corner on the bend, somebody always cuts that grass and it's counted.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the argument comes up year after year after year.
But I think we need to be aware
if
of
we're
that.
allowed to do our own cuts.
Well, unless we can hire the contractors who are working for the council.
Well, you would use them because they're the contractors who use for
as
the other grass.
as a separate one-off.
Yeah, all I'm saying is whether
I
or
know,
not.
yeah, you agree what you're saying is they may say, well, we're not touching our grass, it's
Sorry,
ours.
I don't know if they'll be allowed to cut the verges. I think they need to get a certain licence to cut next to the road.
They're the same people.
They're the same people.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay,
They're
sorry.
the same
That's
people.
that.
All I'm saying is on sort of technicality, because you've opted for your 2 free cuts, whether or not highways will have any comeback on this parish council if we decide to go in a private cut halfway through the season. Because we all know that everyone cuts their own bit of verge and there's not really much there, but it's still just the point that East Sussex County Council.
Can I just ask, did we just do 2 cuts this year?
Yeah.
So that was
Low growth season.
yeah.
Hope there's another one next year.
Global warming.
May not continue.
Okay.
Well, we did.
Jeff, it's noted.
4 years ago, there was only 2 cuts, and it was a shambles. The village looked awful because you had grass 4 foot high, and then they cut it and left all the cuttings to blow over all the roads because they wouldn't collect them. I'm not making any judge on that. I'm just saying 4 years ago, it worked out to be a disaster because we had a very high growth season. We reverted back to 6 cuts, and then I don't know whether we needed them or not. They just got done. And last year, this year, it's 2 cuts, and it's been fine.
Okay.
Can we?
Well, I think we need to vote that we're going to go with the 2 cuts to start with, and then we can follow it up later in the year if we follow take Lee's point and maybe have a word with countrymen to see if they'll do another cut on the verges if we need to, and we pay them independently. It would be a good idea to ask countrymen whether or not that would be acceptable with them. Yeah. Okay.
They might need to have plannings and schedules as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. 11 to consider quotes.
We're going to have a vote on that.
We just did.
Do we?
We agreed at the FA meeting.
Yeah, I know, but just.
Okay.
No, we do need to officially a vote now in the parish council meeting. So.
Yeah.
We did. I thought we did. Okay, we missed it. Can we have a vote, please, for the 2 cuts? Thank you. All in favour? Right, to consider quotes received to lay 40 million single wood field. Quotes to be tabled at the meeting. Councillors to vote and who they want. Okay, we have 3 quotes. New timber is 2,460. Star surfacing is 1,450. And Leo Payne is 1,560. Leo Payne is the people that we currently use to do most of the work in Woodfield. We do know star surfacing, we do know new timber. However, the star surfacing is only £900 cheaper. No, £1,100, £110 cheaper. New timber is nearly £900 more expensive. Pains for the people that did the drain last time, and I take Andrew's point with regards to the plastic gridding. As I said in my email, which applies to you, I've never seen any, and I go over it quite a bit. Jeff doesn't remember it. I'm just wondering, there is plastic gridding up there, but it seems to go from the Twickenham down towards the play park.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the other way.
Yes.
On Meadow Lake.
All I can say, I was there all day working at the Activate Hut.
Yeah.
And no plastic gridding was taken up.
The reason we need the 40 millimetre stuff is because where they've taken it out, they've taken the dirt and the old grass out. It now goes along the grass and it drops down like that. It's a trip hazard. We should really fill it in.
Yeah, I agree. And it's actually got puddles, big puddles in it.
Yeah.
I was up there yesterday and it's got big puddles in it.
So we need to vote on New Timber, Star Servicing, or Leo Payne. Leo Payne's are the people that we normally use.
Is it time we use somebody other than Payne?
I'll go for Payne Utilities.
I think Leo
They're
Payne's is a good
efficient.
standard of work, keep with them. You know, better than with
All in favour?
Yeah.
Payne's? Yep. Okay, footpath 32 from Woodland Way to Wakes Lane, and footpath 34 halfway going to the woods. To discuss the footpath issues and way forward to make safe.
Okay, can I
Yes,
run
please
through
do.
this? Okay. For the benefit of those people who don't know, we're referring to these as either footpath 34, footpath 32. That's in accordance with the Rights of Way map, which is available to all on East Sussex County Council's Rights of Way map, which is highly detailed and excellent in my opinion. So, footpath 34, which I'll talk about first, is the path from Woodland Way up into the wood. Okay, and it's referred to as footpath, footpath Fairlight 34 on the map. Okay. Now, the problem with it is that it appears that there's a stream that's coming out of, so there's a spring somewhere. It looks as if it's coming from the adjacent property to the left-hand side, as you see it. Now, the steps themselves, so there isn't any water that I could see when I visited actually running down the steps themselves. I mean, obviously, if it rains, whilst it's raining, there will be, but when it's not raining, I don't think there's any water actually on the steps themselves. Now, there's an important thing here to remember that was mentioned to me, or mentioned in an email to me from Matthew Harper. Now, Matthew Harper is sort of second in command to the head of, let me get this right, Rights of Way and Country Parks for East Sussex. Okay, both are known to me personally. It's an important point he makes here. So both paths came into being by way of claims of long use, which is relevant to their condition as they aren't maintainable at public expense. The principal exception essentially being the paths are established in that way are accepted in the condition they came to be dedicated as public paths. In other words, it was dedicated path, there it is, that's what you get. Okay. There isn't any power or obligation to improve them on the landowner, the parish, or the highways authority. He hasn't mentioned rights of way. So that's what you're stuck with, really. Basically, it is what it is. Okay. Now, for some reason, they were built with very steep steps, which makes it quite difficult for people of limited mobility, even if they would normally walk okay. So it is difficult. Some of the steps are concrete, some of them aren't, and it's really old-fashioned concrete. It's sort of stuff that dates back decades, and it's very, very hard. Now, if you wanted to do something about it, you could, in fact, replace the steps themselves with steps as per a British standard. And believe me, there is a British standard for flights of steps. Okay, and we have details of that. But that would be a very expensive thing to do, and in my opinion, not worthwhile. There's a handrail at the top, and but further down there isn't. It was suggested that perhaps a handrail should go all the way down, but there are various issues with that. One is liability, the other is the fact that there's a substation on the left-hand side, and there's a number of cables running into it which run underneath the path. And it's quite wide, so if you put a handrail up, you would presumably want to put it at one side, whereas most people seem to walk down the middle. What I'm suggesting here really is that the only real sustainable answer is regular maintenance of the steps themselves. So the mud that's washed down off the wood is cleared away to make the surface, at least the surface of the concrete steps, reasonably safe. That's really all you can do. I think you have to accept that it's the way it is, as per what Matt Harper said. The other one, footpath Fairlight 32, is the path between, or continuation of that path, on the other side of Woodland Way that connects to Waits Lane. The top end, not far from the Woodland Way, there seems to be a spring or something popping out of the ground there. That unfortunately tends to spread water all over the whole of that path, making it extremely slippery. Ideally, it would be good to run that to some proper sewer. But that would be a very expensive thing to do. I don't know where the nearest sewer is, but I suspect it's probably in Waits Lane, or at least where those new houses are, that sort of cul-de-sac part with a couple of houses tucked away. Another expensive thing to do. A lower cost solution would be to run some form of channel to encourage the water to go to one side. So a shallow channel or trench filled with probably something like type 1 or shingle or something, to try and get the water to encourage it to go to one side, in the hope that the rest of the path would at least dry out. That's, I think, the best you can do at relatively low cost. What I'm recommending is that, because Matt Harper has some experience of this in the past, has some history, that I get in touch and send him an email and say, Matt, could you arrange to make a site visit which we could attend, and to give us some advice as to what we should be doing, what is possible, what maybe was done in the past and maybe worked or didn't work. So I think that's the way forward with this, Chair, if I may. Just get in touch with him, get him to set a site visit, and we'll take advice from that, and hopefully come up with some, at least some form of help.
Okay, Council happy that Michael goes away and contacts Matt?
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only thing I would add is we could approach Pathfinders to see if they've come up with any splendid idea for the natural spring in the lower path 32.
Yeah.
That's Southern Water.
Yeah, but the problem is, whatever you do, I'm very wary that you could just push the water down from where it's collecting now and getting muddy, and when it comes out the other end, it's going to just cause a freeze hazard in the winter.
Yeah, I think that's where we need a bit of expert advice as to what is feasible and what legally we can do.
Okay. Yeah. But when you get the reply from Matt, if you let Daniel know, we can move on in that. Right. The annual play inspection. To consider using an alternative play inspection company for our annual play inspection. Right. The cost of the annual play inspection from Wixted is £150. There is an alternative play inspection company which charges £325. Now I understand that the difference, although the difference is money-wise, the annual planning inspections from Wickstead, there's a 20-week lead time. So that means if we order them, get them now, we'll get them in February. If we go to the other place, they can do it when?
They'll be able to do it whenever we want it. Sorry, can I just add that Wickstead, they said that there's no guarantee they can even do it in February.
Right.
There's a lot of problems with them at the old council. So,
Okay, so the planning inspection is due in January 2015, which we won't get done if we go through
Or
weeks.
2025.
That as well.
Yeah, 25. But we might get it done in February, but there's just no guarantee. So I just wanted to double check that you're happy to.
Okay, so are we happy to go with the other inspection company?
Don't
Oh,
have a
you
choice.
say it was-
It's
No,
got
we
to be
don't.
done annually.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's 325.
Is that including VAT?
No.
Not that matters.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Right, 14, Fairlight Christmas house decorations. Whee! Right, the usual things, Parish Council will pay two prizes, one of £50, one of £25 to the winners of the most decorated house with Christmas decorations. The money doesn't go to you, it goes to charity of your choice. And three councillors will decide who's going to do it. Yes, so it looks like it's Lee and Jeff and Lynn.
Yeah, we've got the lights ready.
They just
You got your
volunteered
hand
you,
up,
Lynn.
Lynn.
I did.
No, I can't put the
No,
lights up.
sorry, your hands up.
No, no.
No, I didn't.
They just volunteered you.
So I gather, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, three. That's the three. It's Jeff, Lee, and Lynn.
Yeah.
They're going to do the judging. Oh, we're not going to tell you when we're coming. They're going to come round either, so it means you've got to have them on all the time.
Not going to tell each other.
Okay. Right, 15 website. To note that we're changing from the old website over to the new DirectGov website. There is a rule that every council will eventually have to go over to a .gov website. We're a bit late behind the terms. It was mentioned in 2021, and we're now getting around to doing it now. The proposed company is a company called NetWise. Others have been looked at quite extensively by myself and Graham Gillett.
Bless him, who's sitting at the back.
Okay, and he will confirm that we have done that.
Yes.
Won't you, Graham? Yeah, good man, thank you. So what we need to do is, you've seen the proposal, what they will give us. They will give us .gov.uk email addresses and all of that other bits and pieces that I've listed on there for you as well. The current website has been updated today with councillors and their email addresses. It should be fairly easy to move the data over. I'm not going to say it is because I don't know, but my guess is that the way that it works and the software that it uses to construct the website is basically the same that we've currently got now, but it's a more up-to-date version. It's a little bit more complicated to use than we did on the earlier version, but I don't see any reason why it shouldn't work. Are we quite happy to go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? All in favour?
Yeah, all in favour.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you. Graham, we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Correspondence, any late received correspondence will be tabled at the meeting. No. No, okay, reports from councillors. Lynn, update on Pathfinders, got 2 minutes, started now. Thank you.
Pathfinders are just looking after the complaints re the flooding. So they're not doing any general southern water stuff. It's just about the flooding, and so we know all about the water tubs and stuff. He sent me this sort of little email PowerPoint thingy, which meant not a lot to me. So I went back with lots of stupid questions because I'm good at that. And what he said was that in Knoll Road there were 8 illegal surface water connections within existing foul manholes, managing half a hectare. And what that meant was all of that water was completely removed from the system. So that's a plus. So in other words, those surface water connections are no longer using up the sewage system, which is great. And they're talking about the water butts have managed again half a hectare, which I didn't understand, but apparently it's a measurement of water they use. In ordinary terms, a hectare, 0.6 of a hectare is 1.48 acres. So I thought that's exciting. So it's just a term of water, and apparently what they're saying is using the water butts, all of us that have been using them, have actually made a significant effect already. So that's good. There were illegal water connections which were rectified, and that meant they were disconnected. So in other words, there were various illegal surface waters that were going into the sewage system which shouldn't have been. They've been disconnected, so that now, I don't know where that goes into the ground, I guess. The wastewater system, which you'll all be familiar with, which is on the road to Pet Level, that southern water thing as you're going around, that has been undergone total optimisation. And what that means is they've reconfigured the storm pump return settings. Now, most of you are probably aware that opposite the Market Garden site and further down Lower Waits Lane, there is what they call CS tanks. It's where they take the excess storm water and store it so that it doesn't, all the groundwater, storm water doesn't go rushing into the sewer and make it even worse. And that's what causes a lot of the flooding. Now what they were doing, bless their little cotton socks, was actually letting it all go at once, which meant that we were getting flooding again. That's where some of the pressure was coming, and that was causing absolute havoc. They have reconfigured those release from those tanks. So the storm tanks on the site are now emptying earlier than they were before, which means they're not getting quite so full and it's not causing so much havoc. And it also means that the tanks are emptier when we get a storm like we had in the last day or so. So they're empty already because they've gradually released it rather than waiting for all the storms to fill up the storm tanks and then saying, oh, well, we'll unplug it now and let it go. So they've reconfigured that, so thank God. So that might be why we're getting a difference in the stream, which we're talking about in Village People today. So that's cool. So they've also cleaned and sorted out, they cleaned all the CSOs, these tanks, they've cleaned them all out and removed loads of sludge and stuff, which means they're bigger and more capacity now. And also there were manhole chamber conditions, which meant there were numerous manholes throughout the Fairlight area. But when they went into the manholes and had a look at them, there was loads of cracks and stuff, which meant groundwater was seeping into them again, increasing the problems with the sewers. That's been sorted. Now you'll all be, anyone living in the Cove area, which is Rockmead, Lower Waits Lane, all those areas, will be aware that there's been work going on, sorry about that, Jets, which has been, whereby what they've been doing is they've surveyed all these pipes for about a few weeks, months, and they knew where all the cracks were, where water was coming in, where there were roots, so they've done all that work, and now what they've done is if you can think of a pipe like that, they've now gone down and put a very thin layer on the inside of these pipes all the way down. Fortunately, they've taken photos, a camera's gone down beforehand and knows where the inlets are from all the houses' sewage, otherwise that could be a bit of a problem. So what they've done is that they've put this lining down the inside of the sewer, and then a little machine's gone down and cut holes into each house sewer exit. So what that should do, by lining it, has stopped all the ingress of water coming from the ground, because there were loads of cracks and breaks. All the water from the ground was going inside, so all the flooding that we're making sludgy, horrible and sludgy, that's not going into the sewage system anymore. And they've just made holes so actual sewage can go in. So again, that has reduced the flooding. So all those things together has made a tremendous difference to the sewage. So it's been a pain for everybody living in the area. Great distress has been caused, but hopefully the Pathfinder system has made a dramatic difference, and we should see that with global warming continuing. Bit longer than 2 minutes.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much. It all made sense as well. Okay. Item 18. Items.
Oh, sorry. You're still reporting now.
I was just going to ask that.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Items for consideration for future agenda. Sarah.
As previously
please
requested.
bear in mind that we can't vote on this because it's not on the agenda.
Next year is the celebration, the commemoration of the Day 80th anniversary. And we did have an email about this about 2 months ago. We said we was going to do something about it, and with everything else, it kind of got put on the back burner.
No, I forgot to do it.
And you put it on the agenda. But we are, by the time we get to January, we've got 3 months.
Okay.
I cannot possibly attend a meeting in December. I will be saying that now because if I ruin someone's Christmas dinner, that's, you know.
Yeah, that'd be my fault as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was sort of spoken about last time. It's mentioned that me and Sarah was working it. Can we continue to do so and bring something back to the January meeting, please?
We'll bring it back to the 10th of December for the budget meeting.
Is that the thing? As we've got Hayden here, I believe that there was quite a lot of work done on the 75th anniversary that was never allowed to happen because of COVID and lockdown.
Yeah.
Is there something?
The history group has got a lot of potential exhibition material. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you?
Yeah, because I did put some other requests out in the village groups, and I haven't had a reply from any of them. So
Okay.
I'll chase them.
Right. What we need to be aware of is 8th of May, isn't it?
8th
So
of May.
we will need to book the halls. Okay.
There was also a threat in one of the papers today that they want to put in a 4-day bank holiday because of that. I can't see that at this late stage that they're actually going to allow that because the Monday is May Day and
No, don't see it.
The 8th of May is a Thursday, isn't it?
the 8th of May is a Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's agreed on the meeting on the 10th, then I can book the hall and then, or find out if it's available, and then at least we're somewhere.
Well, there are 2 groups using those halls, both of which would be easy to talk to and ask. I've already done that. So, yeah, if you talk to Steph, they'll tell you who it is. She'll tell you who it is. Huh?
You just said you'll speak to them.
Did I? Okay, I'll speak to them. Dear, oh dear. Right, that's it then. So,
can I ask for 2 things to go on the agenda for
yes,
next
please
time?
do.
Can we definitely have the CCTV
Yeah.
and Fairlight Pavilion, please?
This is for January.
For January.
Does anybody else have anything that wants to go on the agenda?
Fairlight Pavilion.
Pavilion.
The beam replacement on Smuggler's Way, perhaps?
The bin replacement on Smuggler's Way, yeah.
Which is
That's
used as a poo. Well, a lot of people put the poos, but basically the bin breaking up. And that's been sort of damaged for
On the corner of
quite a
Bramble
while.
Way.
Yeah.
A proper poo bin, yes.
What, next to the existing
On a
bin?
on well, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get prices for it.
We have Market Garden as well. Just keep that going.
Well, you want one in the market garden, right? Nothing to do with market garden.
Sorry?
It's on every month.
Yeah, it should be, yeah. Just want to check that it's going to be.
You want a poo bin.
He's talking about the market garden site being on the agenda.
Oh, I see, sorry. My apologies. We were talking poo bins, so I just naturally talking about anyway. You don't want one, yeah? Okay. Yeah, okay. Right, the problem with the poo bins is we have to pay for them to be emptied as
Could
well
I
by
just make a suggestion?
Of course you can.
If we do think of replacing that bin for a poo bin, I think the poo bin would be better at the bottom of Channel Way if possible.
Sorry, are we talking about the grit bin?
There is
There's-
one.
The grit bin is
Is the one that they're
Next to the
using as a
bench.
poo bin, so why
Yeah.
don't we keep the grit bin and put a poo bin next to it, so people don't have to put their poo in the grit bin?
I speak, but the poo bin.
Yeah.
Dominic reported it.
I'm thinking of a different location. I'm thinking of the broken bin at Smugglers.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that is it.
no, at Shepherd's Way in Bramble. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
Okay.
Perhaps get a price for 2 poo, please.
Okay, fine.
In stainless.
Excuse me, Chair. Are we going to ask Hayden for a report on the country park?
Yes, it's not on the agenda. We should do, I suppose, shouldn't we? Hayden, would you like to give a report on?
Yeah, I do apologise for the late delivery of it. Obviously,
That's why I didn't get on the agenda, Hayden.
yeah. Well, I assumed it was still a standing item, but that was a silly mistake. If I just read out what I said, I'm delighted to report, maybe for the last time, to the Parish Council about this project. As many will know, the completed memorial has been installed, was available for the annual Remembrance Sunday service on the 10th of November. It was well attended. Planning and preparation for the dedication event, which will be held this coming Saturday, 30th of November, has been intense. The event, in the presence of the Lord Lieutenant of East Sussex, will take place from 11 a.m. at St Andrew's Church and then outside at the memorial itself. Representatives of the Parish Council, County and District Councils, Fairlight Residents Association, Fairlight History Group and the Royal British Legion, as well as relatives of those named on the memorial, will be taking part, as will members of the church community and Fairlight residents generally. Because seating in the church is limited, it has not been possible to offer an open invitation to the community at large. We hope this event, which will include music and readings, will be a fitting tribute to those who died and will also mark the dedication of the permanent memorial. The War Memorial Group wishes to place on record its thanks to the various chairs and members of the Parish Council who, over the years since the project was initiated back in 2018, have kept faith with the project and provided support and encouragement. Together with the wider Fairlight community, we have seen it through. The War Memorial Group was entirely satisfied with the work performed by EV in creating and installing the memorial and has recommended the payment of the final instalment of the bill. And I'm informed that this is in action. And in due course, memorial folders will be placed in the church with more details of the fallen and the actions in which they fell, together with a brief account of the War Memorial project itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden.
And anything on the country park, Hayden?
Sorry?
Any information on the country park?
No, that has not been high on my agenda recently, but I will take that up
It's still there, Lee.
after the weekend. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Open forum.
Yeah, open forum. Has anybody got... Yes. Jeff.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Trevor Lego saga.
Sorry?
The Trevor Lego saga. Has there been any response from the Parish Council letter?
Is this with regards to the report that you wrote?
Yes.
Yes, we wrote back to him. Stephen Baker wrote the letter. It was sent on behalf of the Parish Council, and he's changed some of the wording.
He was going to put an insert in this month's.
Well, it goes in the quarter, isn't it?
No, the next quarter's
It'll be in the
East
next quarter.
East Sussex Association of Local Councils newsletter.
Okay. Ian? No. Good. Very
I
well.
was
Quick.
thinking of Trevor Lego and it just brings the red mist up a little bit.
Oh, Jenny
Oh,
to say something.
yes.
Yeah.
On CCTV, do we know anything more about that?
Okay, yeah. Do you want me to do it very quickly?
Go ahead.
It's getting done. It's just still going to take some time. We're going to replace the broken pillar with a proper electric pillar, but it's just been held up at the moment. It won't be done before January, I'll say that. just being held up and waiting for an unmetered connection agreement with UK Power Networks and a preferred supplier. Otherwise, yeah, we're...
So we knocked on the door and they've slightly opened it now, so we're almost there.
No, basically East Sussex Highways came back after 9 months and said, actually, it's not our feed, it's not our post, it's never been anything to do with us. Go and sort it out yourselves before we remove it and bury your cable, basically. So UK Power Networks would do it quicker, but believe it or not, they want £250 plus VAT to dig a meter.
And how long is that all?
So to replace the bit of cable to the existing post would cost something like £18,000. So we've come up with an alternative method.
Connect up with the coach and then...
No, you're going to stay there with your camera.
No, we're just waiting on an unmetered connection agreement.
Yeah. There was a young lady who wanted to ask a question at the back. Yeah, you're all right.
I just wanted to know, because you've said Southern Future Homes, or Homes Future South Homes Future, I don't know what they're called. Have they're now the people who own that site. Are you going to be liaising with them at all, or any of the?
The clerk has written them an email.
I've emailed them twice, but they haven't responded, and they haven't got any phone number that I can find.
Well, I would like to talk to one of you, perhaps about some of this. But I just wanted to know.
You can contact them at the fish and chip shop.
Exactly. I went down there before. I
They're at
did
the
a
fish and
lot
chip
of
shop in Eastbourne.
sorting them out.
Yeah, honestly.
And they got there.
That's the director.
And I told it to
That's the director.
Okay. Over to you.
Very good.
Anybody else? Yeah, Andrew.
Hot news. Robin's development manager, that's the person in charge of the practical side of planning, that's planning applications and so on. Kemi Efeveremi has just resigned, and she is going to a new position with planning consultants in Maidstone. So there's another vacancy.
In planning.
Dominic, you've just done your planning course.
Yeah.
Last night. There we go. Solved.
Have I got
Okay.
anyone left in it?
No. Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Meeting closed at... Have you got... Jeff. Put it by the bus stop.
Oh, yes.
And, going out the door there.